Hey, everybody. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind. A week ago today, Nick, you'll remind me, or you can help remind me. I believe we said if we got to 14,000 subscribers by the end of the day, that Luke Evangelist would get to shave was a line through his head, correct? Is that what we decided?
That's what it was.
We didn't reach that number, did we?
No, we're currently sitting, as we record this, 13,926. So, little off, but
Yep. How about
I think we can extend the deadline.
How about this? If we get to 15,000 by tomorrow, which is not going to happen, Luke, what will you do for the people? You decide.
How about this? Why 15,000? Let's go for something that we know can probably happen and put some risk into it. I'll say if it hits 14,000 by the start of tomorrow's show, so that's just 70-ish new followers or subscribers, I will let you shave the line through my head on air.
I don't think I can do that because I think I could get fired. You can do it yourself if you feel like people are pushing you in that direction. I don't think it'd be a good look, Luke, to be honest with you. But if we get to 15,000, you have to do it. That's which the rule should
15,000, I would do anything. I would.
Interesting.
You know what I would do if we hit 15,000? I would make 1,800 YouTube accounts and just subscribe to TexAgs only. That's the only thing I would do. Just like every video, comment on every video. Hey, Nuño looks good today, or hey, Luke looks good today. Yeah. And then I would subscribe too.
Okay, that's interesting. We've gone a whole 2 minutes on this rewind, not talking about what we had on the show. That's the whole point of the rewind. On the show, Olin Buchanan, was he good?
Oh, as always.
Justin Lanham, was he good, Nick?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Connor O'Gara, was he good, Luke?
He was spectacular.
Okay.
He was spectacular.
Dr. John Thornton, was he good, Nick?
Fantastic.
Was David Nuño good, guys? Pretty good. No. Just watch the rewind. And let me go ahead and tell you, I don't care about returning metric. Right. Okay? I mean, what I like for a lot of people this team wasn't good enough for me to care about the returning metric, although I do think it matters. But they are number 18 in ESPN's returning production rankings. And while that's the highest SEC team, by the way, I believe they were the highest SEC team going into last year as well. So to me, I don't care. They picked up 22 players from the transfer portal. That helps their metric, believe it or not. The highest in the SEC of offensive production rate of 77% and 67% on the defense, which is a very good number. But if you look at the returning metrics for this year, all right, I'm going to just tell you some of the teams. This is not the kind of company you want to be in, right? To me, number one in the country, Va Tech. Okay, I don't care. Iowa State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Virginia, Northwestern, Kennesaw, Rutgers, Miami of Ohio, Syracuse.
Kennesaw, how they get in there?
I have no idea. 76% coming. UMass, Rice, Louisiana, Cal, Colorado. That's what the returning production looks like for those teams.
Yeah, those are a lot of bad teams.
If you look at the year prior, Wisconsin, Auburn, Nebraska, all in the top 40. So, look, I want people to come back. I want people with experience because I think in today's college football, you need experience. But that metric does not matter. Scheme matters, though, OB.
Scheme does matter. And I think they're going to have a better scheme with all these guys coming back. And quite frankly, again, I feel good about A&M in most of the position groups. And a lot of it's because some of these guys are coming back, like Shamar Turner, right? Shamar Stewart. I mentioned Henderson. Not Henderson.
Jalen Henderson?
Walker. I mentioned
Ja'Day Walker. Yes, sir.
And Moose. So
yeah.
There was a lot of talent on the team last year.
Yeah. Florida had three guys that were just so long, and they blocked, I think, 11 of our shots, and it just felt like they were blocking a lot of our shots at the rim. And so you have to play fast because if you slow that thing down and you make it a half-court game, they're going to shrink the court. They're going to make that court feel a lot smaller because they're so long and they're able to guard with their length. And so I think that was probably, I'm not in the locker room pre-game or listening to Buzz talk about, what their emphasis is for the game, but you have to watch that game and you got to think that there was an emphasis to play fast, to get to the basket, get downhill, and put a little pressure on the rim.
Justin, let's close out with what's ahead. We know Tennessee a couple times. We know Alabama's ahead. Missouri's the first one they got to take care of. Let's talk about that and what it can mean with some real hiccups potentially down the road.
Yeah, you got to take care of them. Mizzou hasn't won a conference game yet, so you can't slip up there. That's a trap game. You can't lose that one. But look, as far as the schedule goes, I think it's fairly favorable. I know you've got Alabama. I know you got Tennessee twice, so probably saying I'm crazy. And then you got South Carolina as well. You're probably saying I'm crazy for saying it's favorable, but you've got 5 of these next 10 games, these conference games. You got 5 teams that are sitting at the bottom of the barrel of the SEC. And so if you can steal a game between Tennessee, that's going to be hard. They're really, really good. Dalton Knecht is, I think, the best player in college basketball right now. I think he's unbelievable. So it's going to be hard to do. But if you could steal a Tennessee and then maybe either get an Alabama or a South Carolina and then take care of the bottom of the barrel, the 5 teams that are at the bottom of the SEC that you still have on your schedule. And then also, too, I think we have to go to Ole Miss and take care of business at Ole Miss. I think that one's personal. I think we let that one slip away. And so I think you got to make that one personal and go get that one in Oxford.
Hasn't been the starter for the majority of a season. And I think that he was trending in a very favorable direction. I think there are some that might look at some of his struggles that he had in the first half of that Auburn game before he got hurt, or they might look at the final score against Miami and say like, you know what, this was just another guy who wasn't going to work out. I saw some great signs from Connor Wigman early on last year. And if you want to go back to the Miami game and if you want to pick him apart for those 2 picks, which, by the way, those are the only 2 picks he's thrown as a starter so far, you could point to an Anaya Smith drop and you could point to him trying to make something happen on 4th down at a 2-score game late that they were only in because he was actually playing really well and was unbelievable against pressure. I think Connor Wigman has shown you some good signs too, and the PFF numbers about how at that point of the season before he went down, he had the most touchdown passes in the country against the blitz. He has shown poise that I think you would hope to see out of a guy that was a 5-star quarterback at the time. Obviously Jimbo's highest rated quarterback signee since Jameis Winston, and I'm a believer that he's going to take that next step. Now he's not going to be talked about among the top tier SEC quarterbacks, and understandably so, because there are 5 quarterbacks in the SEC who are coming back after they just led their team to a New Year's Six bowl berth. That is really impressive. And there's depth at the position. He's not in the position like a Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma or a Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee, where they're these 5-star guys who are getting to start in year 2, much like Wigman was last year. So he's kind of the forgotten guy in this mix that I think we're going to be talking about a lot more once the season actually starts.
Connor, people also forget the offensive line has been atrocious for a couple of years. There's a change of the offensive line coach. And let's face it, the Jimbo era, the last few years, held people back.
It did. And look, I don't want to be the person that says just because you have something new, it's automatically better. But I was really interested to see what Mike Elko was going to do with his offense.
So you had those kind of guys, but you see what we're doing now, and I think you alluded to it earlier about where they are playing. I think Jace has gotten a confidence level of the expectation of what it takes to play, and I mean he's always had it, but now he absolutely knows. He's defensive rebounded. He's been tough. He's been defending. And so you got that guy coming along with guys from the past, Solo being more mature, understanding what's expected of him. And, of course, Anderson's kind of a freak about how he sees the floor, and his motor is just nonstop. So, yeah, I see those guys kind of meshing as this season is progressing in conference play.
So for a long time, Arkansas's only victory in the SEC was Texas A&M. They've got 2 now. Missouri does not have a victory in the SEC. A&M cannot be their first one. They are 0-9. Just talk about the uber importance of this one on the road.
Yeah, and it's one of those kind of things. I mean, from my coaching experience or my playing experience or watching other coaches, you can't get too far down. Matter of fact, you can't get down the road. All you're thinking about now is tomorrow night and what you're doing to get ready for that. And everything's out the window. I mean, that's what coaches are challenged to do. It does not matter what that record, that conference record is or overall record is. It's Division I basketball. They got some guys that can flat fill it up. they're a wild team to guard because they are free flowing. Everybody shoots the three, and they can have that night. And so, yeah, I don't know what the crowd's going to be like, but it's one that you have to be, locked in, because it's just a different style of play that they play, and they can, they're playing. What are they playing for? It's going to be free and easy for them. They don't like being, winless. What do they got to lose? So, it's going to be fire up. It's real important that we get in there and establish ourselves early with the things that we do. And limiting them to one shot is going to be huge, because their shots, Buzz always talks about predictability. It is absolutely unpredictable when shots are going up with them, because they'll shoot it. Everybody shoots it. 7-footer shoots it from three. Everybody shoots it. So it's that second shot or third shot attempt that you got to limit when they play so free flowing.
All right, early in the show, I was like, Nick, tell them what to do, but it was something different. But Nick, this time, not Nick. God, why do I keep calling you Nick?
Oh my goodness.
That's the second time I've done that to you,
Yeah.
Luke.
Yikes.
Is your real name Lucas?
Just Luke.
Oh, I'd rather it be Lucas.
Why?
Just tell people what to do.
Okay. For real this time, you're going to like, comment, subscribe, turn the little bell on, not the Liberty Bell, the notification bell, so you never miss anything that TexAgs posts.
One thing I've never done, and I'm asking our people to do, is like on the podcast places like Spotify and like Apple iTunes and all that, can't you rate and review and it helps the algorithm?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever rated and reviewed?
Never.
Well, you better start doing that.
Everybody's better start doing that.
I don't know what that means. It's TexAgs Rewind.